This episode, we sail into the remote islands of Fiji for 2 months of off-grid living. As we disconnect from civilization, we connect to nature and have some incredible adventures along the way. We catch our own dinner, head off on our first overnight sail, we find some epic rocks to climb, we scuba dive the famous Rainbow Reef, and lots more. We are Brett, Tess and Coco. We left the rat race, bought a sailboat with no experience, adopted a cat, and now we're seeing where the wind blows us. Let's dive right in. We're there yet. That is a good workout. We are starting to become more confident with sailing, and we're really getting to know our 39-foot sailboat better as we complete a few separate day sails from the mainland of Fiji to the northern part of Fiji. We stop in at Savu to provision our food, water and fuel supplies in preparation for 2 months in the remote Fiji Islands where there'll be limited supplies available. Along the way, we are determined to catch our first fish on board Complicity. Catching a fish means we'll have fresh food, some protein in our diet, and it will feed us, our friends, and any locals we meet along the way. What do you think we're gonna get? A what? Oh!
Oh my god! That is huge. What the hell, Brett? Oh my god, I'm scared. Oh my god, it's so big. Wow! Nice! You want to hold the rod? Alright, good. Oh my god.
After we calmed down from the excitement of scoring a huge Spanish mackerel, we dropped the hook in Vianney Bay and launched the dinghy straight in to start exploring the famous Rainbow Reef. The Rainbow Reef in Fiji is named for its stunning array of colours, thanks to its diverse and vibrant coral species that create a kaleidoscope of hues underwater. We spent weeks here exploring the underwater world as we waited for a weather window to go further east. We were lucky enough to scuba dive the famous dive site called the White Wall. It's covered in white fan coral that opens up with particular tides. It was like we're on another planet. The Fiji trade winds blow persistently southeasterly, but eventually a gap in the trade winds appeared and we headed off on our first ever overnight sail to the Lau group. The moon guided the way east as we rotated on 3 hourly shifts being on watch. 3 hours on, 3 hours off, 3 hours on, 3 hours off. Suddenly, the sun rose, and there we were, anchored in an outer-worldly place, Vanuabalavu. Vanuabalavu has hundreds of rock pinnacles, caves and boulders, surrounded by the most beautiful turquoise water. We found the perfect anchorage, nestled amongst the mushroom-shaped rocks, and we had our first go at stern tying to the rock boulder behind us. We spent 2 weeks here having a blast, exploring the rock islands by kayak, swimming in the turquoise water to cool off from the tropical heat. We found a hidden cave that we hesitantly swam into. It was full of healthy coral and curious fish. As we dinghied around, we found the perfect rock face to climb. We had way too much fun climbing until our arms felt like lead and would eventually fall off into the beautiful blue water.
Oh, good one.
Our next stop was Falanga in the southern Lau Island group. This was another overnight sail, which we needed to time perfectly for our arrival due to a very narrow reef pass that can get extremely rough with standing waves due to the wind against current if you time it incorrectly. We are currently sailing upwind into about 10 knots. It's a little bit rough and we're on quite a hill to the starboard side, but we have so many eggs, so I'm going to make some omelettes because I'm starving. This might be the saddest looking omelette you've ever seen. With white knuckles and teeth clenched, we carefully navigated through the 120-foot wide reef pass, with 3 knots of current pushing us along. The anxiety-inducing morning was definitely worthwhile as we dropped the anchor and found ourselves in a Lagoon Paradise. We were the only boat here, despite it being a popular cruising destination. We dove the reef past and found so much beauty beyond the surface. We spent lots of time here with the village, exchanging stories and meals and embarking their simple way of living. We made the most of the strong trade winds by learning to wing foil around this perfect lagoon. Our next sail was a quick 15 miles to the neighbouring island Ongea, the most eastern island of Fiji. We were now closer to Tonga than we were to the mainland of Fiji. Another slice of heaven was found. We had daily visits from local fishermen. We traded fishing hooks for kilos of bananas, which turned into daily trades getting bigger and bigger in value. We traded an old dinghy anchor we no longer needed, and in exchange we received the biggest coconut crabs you'll ever see. We were very grateful for the coconut crabs, but we decided to release them back into the wild as they are an endangered species. Over the last few months we spent in the remote islands of Fiji, we really learned to embrace the slower life, living from the land, spending time in the ocean, learning a lot about Fijian culture, sharing sundowners with other cruisers, and learning that the weather really dictates our lifestyle. Next episode, we head back towards the mainland of Fiji and get up close and personal with a school of bull sharks. We witness a water spout, we encounter our most uncomfortable sail yet, we find some questionable waves to surf after a bit of a hiatus, and lots more. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. See you then!